Good day, good day, good day, good day. I thought let me pop in quickly. Hello. Hey guys, hello. Hi. It's let's call it a midnight snack. No, midday snack. I'm still in midnight. Midday snack. How are you guys? How's everybody? You clearly didn't think I was gonna close a financial year end and say nothing, must ne? Because we gotta expose the lessons. Yeah, it's midnight somewhere. A midday snack is what I'll call this. But I think, I was sitting here and I was thinking, wow, the lessons we learn in a year, and I guess the more compounded the lessons are over the years, the more we come out on the other side and we're just different people, and hello. So I actually thought, let me just pop in and share some of the things that I continuously learn in business, because it's easy for people to think that you are killing it and everything is always rosy, and it's probably one of the things that people always ask me is do I do I ever have a bad day, or do I have bad days? I have bad days. They just aren't many because of my attitude towards them, So even in business, I have bad days. But, my attitude towards anything in life it's just part of life. You deal with some upset you greatly more than others. Hardship is just should be an expected part of life in whatever shape or form it comes. So I'm sorry to disappoint those people who think I'm some superhuman. I'm not. Sorry, I'm not. And I'm okay with that, because I don't want to be put on some pedestal that doesn't exist. But I'm good. I am good. I'm in a good space. My kids on school holidays, as you can hear in the background. And so I'm in a great space, and today I officially close financial year, and I think I wanted to pop in and say a couple of things. One, having a successful financial year end differs from year to year, and I don't want to assume that everyone knows what financial year end, but anyway, it's like December, but in business. You know how you look forward to December and you're gonna shut things down and then have some leave and then start again? Yeah, it's something like that. The difference in business, though, or in your own business, is that you don't get leave in the sense, you finish your financial year end today, tomorrow it's a new financial year end. It's a new financial year. So, I always say to my team, we don't take the foot off the pedal. We don't take the foot off the pedal, because around March, you're already planning for the new financial year, because it's that final push for the current financial year, but already your plans are looking on to the next financial year. So, yeah, a financial year end is a very important thing in an entrepreneur's life, in the business life as expected, because you get to count the money, honey. Simply put. And when I say financial year ends differ from year to year, sometimes you have a financial year where I'll give you an example. This financial year, when I say it's been successful, it's not about we've met our targets, but it's the fact that we first of all remain standing in business. Two, we managed to cover all our costs throughout the year, plus we've made a profit. So for me, that's a definition of a successful financial year. And then you have financial years where it's all about growth and you are smashing your targets. And then there are financial years where actually all you're doing is just making sure that you're not losing. So in business as an entrepreneur, you constantly have to juggle those factors and ride the wave when it's there and keep your head down when you're in the valley of some kind. So I am incredibly fortunate that I've been able to keep my head down as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, even when times were really tough. So I share these things because I want, even the person that's struggling in business, it's so easy to feel isolated and think that, you're the only one that has issues. We all have issues in business. They just come in different shapes, sizes, and packets. But in some shape or form, we all experience a hardship. I just think it's just like life, right? It's like in your job. Things don't always go well. You're not always getting your bonuses or your increases. You're not always shooting the lights out, So it's so important for me to share, more and more, I think, my business lessons, and to say to people, honestly, even when you're succeeding in business, you are still having a tough time in some shape or form, because that's just the nature of business. So, 2021 for us was a recovery year, or not even recovery, because we still had a significant part of the year that was locked down, and clients were not really spending much. We're a project management business relies on clients spending, and sometimes that spending on projects is also determined by the mood in the country in terms of our economic progress or growth. There's so many elements that are linked together that you don't always have control over. But in a way, 2021 was the year where we started to see a bit of mobility, in that clients are starting to realize that they have to keep spending on projects. But what we've seen over the last couple of years is a significant amount of reduction in professional spend. But it comes and goes, especially in the industries that I'm in. It comes and goes. So, as an entrepreneur, you're constantly asking yourself questions around, what's next for the business, but what's next for you as well, because that's such an important question to ask yourself. So I'm going to quickly share some things. I will upload this because I know a lot of people are working. So I don't expect you to be here by your hundreds, but I will upload this when I'm done. I'm going to say that, so as I've just said, you want to define you want to come up with what your definition of success is as an entrepreneur, year on year, or in different times and different years of your business, because sometimes success to somebody else is about recovery. Success to somebody else is about breaking even. Success to somebody else is about profit making. Success to somebody else is about coming up with a different product line. And the product line could have cost you money to come up with it because of the investment, but you're still successful because you came up with a new product line. So whatever your imperatives are for your business, no matter the size of your business, you must ask yourself, what is success going to look like for you this year? So every time you're planning for your new financial year, and I hope you guys are running your businesses somehow in a professional manner, because that does help you in terms of when you're looking for funding, and if you're looking for other shareholders, or even if you are looking for business, particularly if you're going to work with blue chip companies, they want businesses that are professionally run. So when I'm talking about all this stuff, I'm talking about, even if you are still starting out, just remember that these are things you need to do and need to get right. And those are your basics of running a business, maintaining your books in order, making sure you pay your taxes where you need to pay taxes. And you don't have to do all these things by yourself. You get people who can help you with it. So your definition of what success will be in your particular financial year is completely dependent on where you are in business and what you are looking for out of your business as an entrepreneur. Some people are at the back of these big COVID lockdowns. Just the fact that they still had a business was enough success. So I acknowledge what it has taken to keep businesses afloat in the last two and a half years. And it has not been easy because you're not only thinking about keeping the business afloat, you keep thinking about the health of not just yourself, but your family, your staff. You're thinking about the health of your clients. I mean, I recently got a call from one of my very precious clients, and I was so happy to hear from him. I mean, like this week, I haven't spoken to this guy in like 2.5 years, and when he called me, I was so happy that he's actually alive. It gets down to that I'm so happy you are alive, just being alive, because you call people and people are not there, and it's been quite a strange time. And relationships in business have shifted, and how you do business has shifted, because I mean, I'm not a person that does business on a screen. So I would be the person that goes to sit at my clients' coffee shops and tell them I'm downstairs, come join me for a coffee. That's how, because that's how I do business. I want to know how you're doing. I want to know, what's frustrating you in the day, because if I know what your challenges are, then I'm able to craft the right solutions for you. So it's been quite a significant change. And it matters that you define what your success is. So that's just the opening point. Making a profit in business is absolutely critical, but even more critical is the ability to cover your costs and deliver to your clients and look after your people. Even more critical, because the profit margins will vary from year to year. And when you have other shareholders, you probably have a lot of pressure in terms of profits. But I'm the only shareholder in my business, so I'm able to decide that this year I'll be okay with X amount of profit. And I can decide if I'm going to reinvest that profit into the business to grow the business, or whatever it is that we're trying to achieve. And these are all the decisions that you are faced with as an entrepreneur constantly. If you're working in somebody else's business, it often isn't your thing to think about. Somebody else thinks about it. But when you run your own business, these are things that you constantly are juggling. So I'll tell you one of the things I've learned over a period of time, but particularly this financial year. So I'm gonna talk about some lessons that I've learned over time, and then the ones that are quite specific as well. The thing with entrepreneurship is that the joy is in the ride. The real joy is in the ride, because when you come to a milestone and you look back and you just see how far you've come and how much you've achieved, given all of your circumstances and your challenges, honestly, you realize that actually the true joy in what we do is in the ride, even in those painful moments. With reflection, that is actually where we grow the most. So the real joy in entrepreneurship is in the ride. Yes, of course, you can't be joyful if you're not putting food on the table. So let's just get that one off the table. It's not fun when you're not making money, okay? But remember that when you're growing your business, you must also grow yourself. So us entrepreneurs get so caught up in building the business that we forget that we also need to grow. So don't lose sight of the things that matter to you and how you can stay abreast of your own goals, whatever those are. Two, I must tell you, this is something that I really had a realization this financial year. I used to be so obsessed with hiring only star performers. I was so obsessed with having, that typical idea of top performers in my company, because I believed that with top performers, they're quite driven. I don't have to keep telling them, you need to do this, you need to do that. They come from a place of, being driven to perform really well. Whilst that is okay, and there's nothing wrong with only looking for star performers, I have learned that you'd rather have a solid pair of hands rather than star performers. So a solid pair of hands rather than star performers is one of the lessons that I've greatly taken this particular financial year, because top performers do come with their issues. Kind of drama. So I think I'm at a point where now I'm quite happy with a solid pair of hands that does the job as expected. No fanfare, doesn't shoot the lights out, doesn't do, cartwheels, just does the job. And for me, that is something that has become so critical, because, star performers, you have to also be stroking their ego. You have so many things. Then they probably never feel like they're paid enough. And then, it doesn't matter how much you pay them, it will never be enough. And you're constantly fighting their ego. So I think that what I've learned is that I'd rather have someone I can rely on who will do the job, even if it's not fireworks, but they'll do the job. So I've moved from fireworks to I just want someone who'll do the job and do it well and go home. That's it. Because also with star performers comes this idea that they want a share in your business, or want their shares in your business. And you're like, but how much risk have you put in to then wanting this business? Because you can get up and walk tomorrow and go find another job, but so you constantly have to be balancing things that I believe are not necessary to get the job done. So I just think that there's nothing wrong with people who are high performers. There's nothing wrong with seeking people who are high performers. I think just be aware that you will have to deal with a whole lot more issues around those things I've just mentioned. And I also don't want people to take me wrong and say then you just take people who you just settle for the wrong people. No, there's a big difference between what I'm talking about and a solid pair of hands. A solid pair of hands is someone who will reliably do the job every time as you wish for it to be done. And I think that the ambition, and in fact, that's one of the things I stopped doing. I stopped looking for entrepreneurs to hire, because entrepreneurs to hire, the day they see how much you get paid as the founder and the CEO of the company, that's the relationship gone, because then somehow they think that that's what they should be getting paid, or that they want shareholding in the company, because I don't know what you think shareholding is about. I'm like, okay, if you want the shareholding, if you want shareholding, then you might as well, put some money into it. Yeah. So anyway, Anela, please don't misunderstand me and come up with your own assumptions of what I'm saying. Try and listen and stop typing. Because now you're going to start, and don't call me my girl. I'm not your girl. I think you're being disrespectful. I'm going to block you. You can share if you want. I don't mind, but just wait. Just listen, not to respond, but to understand the point that I'm making. So the point that you end up getting to is, well, I got to that, and everyone has different experiences, right? I got to a point where I don't want to hire entrepreneurs anymore. Those people you're like, oh, I want people with entrepreneurial thinking who can get what I'm about. No, they become a serious problem in your business. So I am at a point where I'm okay to hire people who actually want jobs, who want to get a job, be an employee, get paid, go home, performs well, you get a bonus, you get an increase, you are happy. I want to work with people who who can be content with the fact that they work for somebody else. Remember, if you hire people who are quite entrepreneurial, they are always, and not all of them, I'm saying my experience has been that they want the business. They want a shareholding in the business, but they don't want to put the money to buy the shareholding because, yeah, if you want to put some money in, let's talk. But they want it given to them. And I'm not sure what right people think they have. You're an employee in the company. You get paid a salary. That's my commitment to you. Unless I decide that, oh, by the way, now I'm going to do a staff scheme, or I'm going to make some shareholding available. People don't want to take the risk that you have taken, but they want to reap the rewards that you are reaping. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. So I think these are things that people don't quite share in business. I share them because if you come across a scenario like that, I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you, or that you don't have the ability to manage your business or manage the people. I just want you to know that it is part of business. It is the journey that you get on as an entrepreneur. So I no longer obsess over star performers and entrepreneurial people, because I just want people who are going to do the job and do it well without me having to constantly explain myself, because that's where it gets very difficult. And the minute somebody sees how much you get paid, if they are entrepreneurial, more often than not, what I've experienced is that the relationship changes, because somehow I don't understand. They think you must pay them. You must pay yourself what exactly? Everybody gets rewarded for the risk they have taken. And if anything, in my business, I will be the last one standing because everybody else can leave. Everybody only looks out for themselves. And every single time, every single year, it gets proven that people are only loyal to themselves. So stop expecting loyalty from people, because you're not going to get it. They're loyal to their own interests, and they'll be loyal to you for as long as you are fulfilling those interests. So that's another thing that I've learned. But let's come to that at some point. Number 3, you must expect failure. You must expect failure when you go into business, because if you don't go in expecting, when I say expect failure, I'm not saying expect that your business is going to fail. No, I'm saying expect that you are going to have disappointments. Expect that you're not going to get some things right. Expect that it's okay, baby. You can unpack when I'm done. Are you trying to find a snack? There's food there. I made some food. Yeah, I cooked. So just remember that not everything is going to go as well as you hope it should, even if you give it your best effort. And it's easy for entrepreneurs to think that there's something wrong with themselves or what they're doing, they're not getting it right. No, sometimes it's about timing. Sometimes it's the wrong thing, but it seems like the right thing. And sometimes it's about just remembering that you are going to go through tough times. You're gonna mess things up. You're gonna make decisions that don't yield the desired outcome. But if you feel that the decision that you made is the right one, given the information you have at hand, then that's okay. You just change the decision, and you go a different direction if that is what it necessitates. Sorry, I keep having some sunspots. So let's see. Okay, so if you have a question, put it in the question box. I'll see if I have time to answer when I'm done here. So expect failure of some kind. That's the number 3. Number 4, people will let you down. People will let you down. Go in knowing it, expecting it, and praying for the best. In fact, it's the people you least expect it from that will let you down the most. So don't go in thinking everyone has the same interests as you. because they don't. In any event, why should they? It's your business, it's not theirs. So drop the expectations that people won't let you down. People are going to let you down. No, I don't teach Forex. Read my bio. I'm not in trading. I've never been. Guys, please read my bio. There's a reason why the bio is there. Okay. Anything that says Forex always distracts me, because clearly somebody is talking to somebody that they think is me. I won't contact you, just so you know. Even if I was, I don't think I'll be the one contacting you. So I'm not. Okay, let's keep going. Maybe I should switch off comments. Wait. How do I do that? Let me see. Aha, I got it. I've turned off commenting. Yes. All right. So people will let you down, and it is often the people you least expect it from. So I think just go in knowing that that's something that's going to trip you up along the way. 5, do not give up your personal life. Do not give up your personal life for business or in pursuit of business opportunities, because what happens is that you become your life is a bit wobbly, because you are forgetting that there's so much more to life than constant hustling and chasing, and find other things that are important to you that will refresh and replenish your mind, so that you are well prepared for what you need to do in business. So the saddest thing to see is somebody who gave up their time with their family, who ends up building a really successful business, but that success is empty, because then they no longer have anyone to share it with. Because I think these people must go back to school. Because no one is there to share it with you, because you unfortunately neglected what was quite important, and I hope it is important to you. So especially new entrepreneurs, when you're starting out in business, it can't be business at all costs. You have to understand where the line is. And most importantly, you must have the ability to switch off. You have to be able to switch off from business. Otherwise, you sleep, you're thinking business. You eating, you're thinking business. It can consume you that much, but you need to have clear boundaries and where the line is, and where you can switch, when you can turn off. Number 6, a culture of empowerment is not for everyone. A culture of empowerment is not for everyone. You still have to build it, though. You still have to build a culture where people are empowered to do their jobs without managers, constantly micromanaging them, checking what they're doing all the time, not allowing them to make mistakes. But that culture of empowerment, what I've learned is that some people do not fit in it, because they are so used to being micromanaged, and they expect you to tell them what to do every single day. My culture is, I've hired you, you're a professional, I'm going to pay you a lot of money, you do the job that I've hired you for. I guide you here and there where it's needed, but I need you to independently do the job. But that culture is not for everyone, and you would think that it's for everyone, but it is not for everyone. And you know this when you've hired someone and they come into your company, and you realize that actually they can't do the job without micromanagement. And I'm not a leader that micromanages, so it's important for me to hire people that will also run independently of me. But the lesson that I've taken is that even if some people won't fit into a culture of empowerment, that is who I am, that is what I believe. So you're going to have to keep trying, keep finding people. And that's the one thing about people in any business, is that you have to keep trying. Even if you've had one bad experience, it doesn't mean then you have to stop. Keep going. Someday you will find a person that will actually fit in your environment. And 7, you will hire wrong people. And you will have to fire people. And it's an unfortunate part of business. In fact, it's an unfortunate part of any business, be it a corporate or a business. You will hire wrong people, Some people won't perform as expected, and you may have to fire them, because some people are not going to go by themselves. They're not going to be like, hey, I know I'm not cutting it, let me go. Doesn't happen that way. In fact, the ones who don't meet expectations are the ones who stay. They don't go anywhere because they try to fight you to pay them or something. So just remember to understand what labor law says, understand how to treat people, and most importantly, don't change your heart of wanting people to succeed. So people must never be surprised that they're not performing. Of course, there are those who will act like they don't know when you've told them, and when you've set them down and said, these are the expectations and you're not meeting them, come on, pick up your socks, let's go. And then you sit down. And one thing I can tell you in business, when you've hired people, make sure you document everything that has to do with performance, because people will turn it against you and use it against you from a good heart, where you tell yourself that, listen, let's just have a conversation. Things aren't working well. How about you? Where are you struggling? How can I help you? If you don't document those conversations, if you don't record when the conversation took place, what the conversation was about, and what is expected of that person, and get them to also agree that that is what they understand was the conversation about, they will use it against you. People will act like they suddenly have amnesia. They don't remember what you were talking about. And guess what? They take you to the CCMA and you lose. So one thing I have learned over the years, and I've never lost a CCMA case, I know how to treat people with dignity and respect. But believe me, people will take you for a ride. People will turn on you at an hour where you think, I never expected that from that person. So right as you go in, like you were in corporate, because remember, in corporate, the hardest thing is to fire someone. So you have got to go through all the processes. Don't lose that because you're in business. And if you don't know, find out, because the minute you hire another person in your business, you have got to understand what labor laws say. You have got to understand how to performance manage people, and you have got to know how to monitor and record performance related issues, because someday it will really, really save you, and it will save your business. So accept that you will hire wrong people. It's like dating. You meet someone, you date, you think this is the one, and then it's not the one. And then by the time I'm sure by the time you get to number 7, you're like, how? I thought all these were the ones. So don't assume anyone is the one. So don't assume anyone is the one. Go in with an open mind and a cautious mind, and understanding that this might not work out. And then you just keep hoping and praying that it will work out. And if you're lucky, you meet people that you can work with, and you keep working on the relationship, in a working relationship, until it really gets solid. But, you will actually, this is another thing for me. I had built this team, my team, over a long period of time, right? And after 8 years, I still had some people, 7 years with me, 6 years, 5 years. But then you get to a point where actually people have to leave. People will leave. So I think, understand that people will leave. It doesn't even matter who the person is. Even if you hire your own family member, they will leave at some point. When it no longer suits them, they will leave. So whatever those dynamics are, just know that that's how it is. That's the thing in business. People must leave, by the way. Because when it's time, when somebody decides that they want to leave, they really must go, because it shows in their performance. You can already say, but it's always with hindsight when someone resigns, and then you're like, oh yeah, now it makes sense. You've been underperforming, you've been dropping the balls. That's because you're busy looking for jobs somewhere else. You're busy going to interviews when you're supposed to be doing your job. So, but it's part of the game. People must go. And when else are they going to have interviews? They don't exactly have interviews on a Saturday or a Sunday. They have to take time away from the time that you pay for. So deal with it. It will happen. And I can tell you, when you have to fire people, it never stops to hurt. It never stops to be painful, because especially if you're a person that's all about creating jobs and wanting to change people's lives, it hurts. It really does hurt. So But no one is above the business. And that's my next point. No one is above the business. That's number 8. Not even you are above the business. So you have to constantly be thinking about the longevity and sustainability of your business. And you make tough calls, and tough calls are not easy. They're called tough calls for a reason. They're tough. It's not, oh, I'm just good. This is an easy walk in the park type decision. No, it's tough calls. And sometimes those calls, you literally cry about them. And then sometimes you make a tough call, because rightfully so, you should, because people will take you for a ride. They will take advantage of your good nature, and it happens in business. And I posted this thing on my stories. I came across this joke, this meme about, how do you do this job? When people ask me, how do I handle this job? And I say, I'm dead inside. It was a meme I found. I posted it on my stories because I really loved it, because I can identify so much with it, because you can come in with such a big heart and wanting to cuddle everyone and make sure that everyone feels good about themselves. But people just like spit in your face. So you kind of got to a point where you just like, I'm dead actually inside. I'm dead, because people will kill your spirit. But you don't stop, okay? And you don't change who you are, but you learn from those lessons. You learn from those things. And sometimes you get bitten multiple times, like I have. You get bitten multiple times. People take your kindness and throw it in your face. They spit in your face. But you know what? I'm not going to stop being me, okay? And sometimes people don't want to be called up on their behaviors. People don't want to be told you are not doing a good job, because somehow they think, I don't know, they're in this world where you are not you're not on the same wavelength. The difference here is that I am the custodian of this business. So I have to make tough calls. I have to do what's right. But I want you to know that when you have to make those tough calls, make them, because it is sometimes a matter of your business survival. So would you rather be pandering to one person, or make sure that you rise above that experience and build a business that sustainably employs 50, 40, 10, 5 more people than that one person? So you have got to be thinking with your head and think, where is this thing going? And not a single person is above the business. Not even your own emotions should make you, put the business in jeopardy. Number 9, I used to always be, in business. I mean, generally, I'm that person. I'm tough. I'm really tough. I am. That's something I had to build over a very long period of time since I was a child. But I've come to a point in business where I voice it out now. If something is hurtful, I'll say, actually, this is hurtful. If something is a struggle, I'll say, this is a struggle. Because more and more, I realize I have no interest in being tough. People who are tough are the ones who stress the most, because you keep all of this toughness and you keep it going, like, I know, little, clap, let's keep going. No, there are moments now when I'm like, pause. I'm not okay. This is not okay, But it does take me, it takes a lot for me to get to a point where I'm like, this is not okay, in a very like highly animated way. So, but I think you must be okay with just being your authentic self. A struggle is a struggle, and we cannot be in places where, in fact, let me put it this way. When I was starting out in business, I always thought that, and I put it upon myself, that, even when things aren't going well, I must be the one that continuously, pumps the team up. And then I'm like, no, actually, there's sometimes when I also need to be pumped up. So let's pump each other up. You pump yourself up, I'll pump myself up. But then maybe as a collective, let's do something together. So you have to give up this need to be seen as a leader that constantly has it together. because it's not possible. It's humanly impossible to always have it together. And when somebody hurts you, they've hurt you. I've never actually used words like, well, not never, words like hurt for me, like in the business context, even personally, to be honest, to say someone hurt me, that always felt like I'm giving them the power. So now I can acknowledge that I'm actually hurt. I feel that your actions have hurt me, and I can voice it with my mouth and say, I feel you have hurt me. So I think that I'm gonna turn these comments in case there's some issue with network. So anyway, so I think the more authentic we seek to become as leaders, the better it is for ourselves. So not just for the people we lead, for them to know that we are also human. We don't, and they can't keep, throwing things at us, and then we must just keep catching and keep catching. No. With respect, we can voice our opinions about how people treat us and how they make us feel. So even in my personal life, and this thing of saying something hurt me, I've always said to myself, guys, now I got abandoned rejected by a father, abandoned by a mom. Nothing more in life could ever hurt me. Like I've experienced hurt as a child, and I know the impacts of that. So the impact of those actions. So I've always told myself, no one can get to me beyond that. Like it doesn't get more hurtful than that. So anything else that I suffer beyond that, it's just something else. But I've grown to actually accept that I have a heart. I have feelings. I have emotions, and they hurt. I sometimes hurt people without even realizing that I've hurt someone. And if someone tells me I've hurt them, I'll say I'm really sorry. And I think you become a little more humane the more you actually make the mistakes yourself. So the more you also do something, and maybe you say words that were unkind to someone unintentionally, or that whatever you said to them, they received it in an unkind manner, or you didn't mean it. The more you actually accept that, oh yeah, no, actually, I also have the same liberty, If you say something to me, I don't have to feel like such a, this armor that I've had over me all my life doesn't have to stay there, It does not have to stay there. So I've started to actually say it hurts. I've even started telling some of my team members that actually, and I'm not saying talking to everyone, like I'll have a person who's senior who helps me take off pressure from me. I'll tell them that, that something that person did really hurt me, but that's not something I used to do. But over the years now, like especially this recent financial year, this year we're talking about, I think COVID and this whole situation around the world has just made us feel like, or at least made me feel like, I can completely be a softie. It's okay. Which, by the way, I think I am a softie. Yes, Toby. Just wait, my love. Thank you. So I've decided it's okay. I mean, hurt has come back. It has come into my vocabulary now. I'm now giving emotions the words that they deserve. And in as much as I'm a person, I'm not a walkover. You can't do things to me and think you'll get away with them. But there's just words that have not been in my vocabulary because I refused before to let people think they have power over me by me telling them they've hurt me. But I actually think the power is in my hands when I tell you how you've made me feel and allow you the opportunity to remedy that, whatever it is. But also in the same vein, I want you to understand that one of the lessons I've learned is that even when you tell people they've hurt you, it doesn't mean their response to you is going to be what you hope for, but you've told them. And I think the more leaders we have that actually say and lead from a place of heart, and I've always been that, but I think I actually use my brain way more than I use my heart because of how I've had to come to where I am in life. So I've always had to kind of like, when you know that if you do not use your brain to, like, you're not gonna get anywhere. So constantly, I'm a logical person. So if something doesn't, if you're not thinking and not applying your mind, I struggle with that. So, but over the years, I've learned to actually, there's also a heart, and the job of the heart is not to only pump blood. It's not only to pump blood, and I learned that, So, and I'm a person that is highly, and I'll say it, highly intellectually competitive. Like, I'm very intellectually competitive. I don't like having dumb conversations. Like, I want stimulation. I want deep depth in conversations. I know it's a bit weird since I'm so like I don't come across as very deep, but I am deep. No, the people who know me here. My people know me. But I am, when I say I'm intellectually competitive, I really thrive at a place where we are intellectually, connecting, and we're intellectually challenging each other, and we look at problems intellectually and say, listen, what's the solution, and not just dwell in the problem, But one of the things I've most certainly had to allow myself is just keep opening that shell, keep opening up that shell, and if something stings, it stings, But it's something I'm still getting comfortable with. As a result, I mean, I've said this before in one of my lives, that I'm not the person you come to when you don't want to get the truth. So if you come to me and ask me something, I'll give you the truth, no matter how painful it is. And in my head, I think, and remember, in my head, I think I'm being the best friend I can possibly be to you, but people don't receive it that way. Sometimes people think, no, actually came looking for something else. But I think then people need to learn to express themselves and say, listen, I have this issue, but please, I just actually want a hug, but don't come to me and expect, ask me a direct question, and then when I give you the answer is not as soft as you would have liked, because those are things that I'm still learning how to be, fuzzy. I think I'm very warm, but I lack the fuzz in the warm and fuzzy. So I'm still working on the fuzzy part of it. But I've learned as I grow older and with more years and with working with people, interacting with people, I've learned that people don't always want your brain. I've always had to show up with my brain, and I'm where I am because I've used my brain a lot. I've thought about, what's this? Where are we going? What's happening? And then over time, you unlock this heart, because once you become a leader, you can't always be at your brain level. People are people. Sometimes they just need, an empathetic ear. And I never thought that that's something I also had to kind of apply to my friendships, because I've always had this thing, and I know I'm saying a lot of things right now. Bear with me. I think you're on a lunch hour, aren't you? So I've always had to have these moments where I have to remember with my friends. I'm like, yeah, you know who I am. I already care for you. I'll do anything for you. You'll find me. I will be there if you need me. I'm there. So now I'm moving from a point of, you already know that I care about you. You already know I want what's best for you. You already know that if you say to me you want a hug, I'll give you a hug. You already know those things. So if I'm going to be talking to you and you want a solution to a problem, I'm the solution person. I'm a problem solver, honey. I'll give you some recommendations. You still have to make your decisions. But I've now learned with life encounters that, no, even when your friends know you are the problem solver and you're going to give them the real truth, sometimes the truth still hurts, and that's where you kind of then have to balance it. I haven't mastered it yet, so I'm pretty sure some of you who ask me questions here and I respond to you, Some of you do feel bruised because I'm too honest. But I just know I care, okay? Last one. You must let go of opportunities that waste your time. The one thing I learned in business, when I started, I was chasing everything. And then I soon learned that, you know what, there are people that are going to string you along for whatever reason. And I started learning very quickly, in fact, that, okay, I can sense when someone is just playing me, or someone is just going to string me along and nothing comes of it. And I started to be very particular about what I chase. So, you know, people are so kind, they'll forward opportunities to me that they think I should take part in. And I'm like, no, I won't, because that's not, I know what my chances are of success with opportunities as they come. And that does take time. So you have to learn on the job kind of thing. Because if you have to go all the way, you know, for you to be able to understand yourself better. That's why I'm saying the growth in entrepreneurship is in the ride itself, not in the not always in the outcomes that people think, but it's actually in the ride itself. You get to know yourself so much better. But don't chase things where you can see that, and your gut will never lie to you. If you can see that something is not going anywhere, I don't do tender work. I don't do submitted tender there. I don't do that. I've never done a tender in my life, because I don't, my chances of success are very slim, and it's not a business, it's not a way I understand. So even some of the ways of doing business, if you can see that this is not a way that is within your element, and a way that you are willing to do, and remember, your personal values are everything. So for me, if you are a client and you want me to come, or a potential client, and you want me to come have dinner with you so that I get business from you, or we talk business, I have to let you go as a client, or a potential client, because dinner with you takes away dinner with my family. So to me, which one is more important? Definitely not you. So it's so important to understand what are your boundaries, what's the playing field, because people will constantly bring their own game to your field. So you need to work out, is this a game I want to play? And is this a person I want on my field, most importantly? And is this the game I want to play? And that is so important, because you get dragged everywhere. You for whatever reason, you will run around and literally lose your head and not achieve anything. So if you can just be strategic about what you work on, and I can only tell you that any opportunity you take part in, you must make sure you have the highest chance of success, the highest chance of success. So chasing everything only burns you. And I'm pretty sure you have limited resources and you have limited time. So be strategic about where what you do with that time, and including your team, including the people that work in your company. Don't just go sending them to chase things that they shouldn't be chasing. I mean, I had a really big client. Well, it's actually quite common occurrence in our business. A client where you see that this one is just, it's not going anywhere. And the hardest thing in a business is working and working and working and working so hard, and then nothing comes of it. So I'd rather let go and give up bigger opportunities that will take too much time to get to and too much pain to get to, and stick to my field, stick to my lane. I know who my people are. I know who my clientele is. I know what industries I have as my clients. I know which industries I'm targeting and why I'm targeting them. And I'm happy to keep building, one brick at a time. I am so that's what I wanted to share. I think I'm done. I've talked a lot. I think the hour is up. Is it? I don't know. I don't have a clock with me, but I think there's a question here. Oh, it's just one question about positions in my company. Um, you can apply on our website. Yeah, that's the information, or LinkedIn. Okay, so anyway, that's what I wanted to share in commemoration of my financial year end today. I'm incredibly grateful that I continue to be able to run a successful business, because it's okay, guys, for us to say we are running successful businesses, because that's one of the things that also a lot of entrepreneurs fail to do, is to acknowledge how much it has taken for them to get where they are. And again, remember when I started, I said, you decide what is your definition of success. And what that definition of success is going to change with time. Every year, every financial year brings a different challenge, and it's gonna change with time. So it's okay to say, yes, I've done this thing. I have put in so much, and this is where I am. And if you're succeeding at it, say you're succeeding, and that's okay, because guess what? There's somebody else who's probably wanting to know how you handled certain challenges. And if you don't say that you are managing, they won't be able to reach out to you. In fact, also, if you are struggling, say I'm struggling. Because people who like to pretend as though they're not struggling will never get help, because no, you're not telling somebody that you're struggling. So, I think that we need to be fighting more for those opportunities where I can tell you that people are more than willing to reach out and assist. People are more than willing to say, let me see how I can help. If you're struggling with something, let's talk through it and see where can I offer, where can I offer help. But of course, I can't help everyone. So maybe let me just put that out there. If I don't respond, or, my response is I don't have capacity, don't think it's because I don't care. Let's all assume that I care, because I do. So I think that's quite important. And then maybe before I end this, there's tomorrow I will be contacting the beneficiaries of the Vastly Sage Cares initiative. So where I asked people to submit their NPO submissions. It's taken me. It's a full-time exercise. I know, people could have helped me with it, but I just felt that it was, I had to do it myself, and I got over 1,000 submissions, over 1,000, and I think that I've managed to get to a decent short list, but I'm still going through it today, because I also don't want to say I'm going to support people and not be able to meet my own expectations of it. So I will be communicating with the ones that I'll be able to support tomorrow, and it's the support I'm going to give is not just monetary, because I think sometimes people just assume that when I say I'm going to support, I'm saying I'm going to fund you, which is, there are those that I will fund monetary wise, but there's some that I won't. So because I don't think that that's how I want to contribute to them, and I don't think that that's what they would necessarily benefit from. And it's actually quite an interesting exercise that I've had to go through, and I'll probably say something about it another time. So not everyone has made it. Clearly, I can't support 1,000 NPOs. And of that 1,000, not everyone is up to what I'm looking for. So, but I want to say that people must really continue doing the good work that they're doing, and it really is. It's making a difference. I'm pretty sure where you are operating, and continue to make sure that you're doing what's right for the beneficiaries, because that's important. It does change people's lives. So I want to congratulate everyone who's doing something in their ecosystem, because It doesn't matter how big or small. What matters is that you are helping somebody else. And I think we reach a much higher expression of self when we start to look outward of ourselves, and when we start to see how we can change our environments and our ecosystem. So thank you very much for your time. I hope that this was helpful, and take it exactly as I said it. Don't interpret it otherwise, because some of you just come here to to comment than listen. So bye bye.